Good evening, sports family. Welcome to Second and Scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Oh man, it's been a week since we last got together. We have so much to talk about. We're just gonna dive right into it. Get those snacks, get those desserts, get those drinks ready, and saddle up. Second Scheming starts right now. And welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. Hope your work week is off to a fantastic start. Welcome to episode 6 of Second and Scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am your host, Big Mike. Be hanging out with you for the next hour or so, talking all things sports from sea to shining sea. Got quite a few topics on the dive for tonight. Talk a little, got a little NFL, little college football, a little NBA. I sneak a little golf in there, and you know what? Whatever we got time for. You know, it's just kind of how we roll here. We'll just do a little improv when we need to, right? That's just what this show's about. So, got a couple great guests coming on here after the break. These guys are rarely ever at a loss for words, so this should be a lot of fun. So, looking forward to tonight. And looking forward to all of you who are watching live. Keep those comments coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. So before we dive into all that, you know we got to get a word in from our amazing sponsors. Planet Jerky, your briskets on a whole other planet, and Vital Apparel. So let's get the words in from our great partners. We will dive into the content on the other side. Thank you once again for joining your boy Big Mike here on Second Scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
All right, welcome back. Thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy evening to join us. Appreciate it very much. And if you're checking us out on the replay, again, thank you very much for that. Cannot thank you enough for it. Before we dive in, I got a few little housekeeping things to take care of. If you'd be so kind, as most of you know, I am also the Indiana Insider here at IU Sports Radio, so you can follow the Insider page on X or Twitter, whatever you're still calling it, at IESR_Indiana. You can also follow my personal account at The Chill Mike. If you're a TikToker, we're on there as well. My personal account at chill.mike7. You can also follow the network at IE Sports Radio. And again, for those of you who are live, keep those comments rolling in. Appreciate that. What makes this show just so much fun. So, but without further ado, let's welcome in our guests for the evening. First one we'll introduce. Some of you may remember the old show I used to do, Indy Sports Nation. This guy here was my Indiana Hoosiers insider here. This guy bleeds cream and crimson, and is also, I would say, one of the classiest guys that I know. Got to welcome Craig back. Craig, welcome back, buddy. How the heck are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. For those of you who don't know, Craig is also a resident of my neighborhood, of the Indianapolis area, and it's been a rough go, to say the least.
The day in particular, it's been kind of rough. I mean, obviously the news, and then Sophie Cunningham out for the year now. I mean, Colts players getting hurt left and right. So it's like,
Well, you know what? I see you're wearing black. I'm wearing black too. It's like a dark day.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, I think they're great minds.
Yep. Well, Craig, appreciate you taking the time to join me tonight. And last but not least, we're going to welcome in. He's not a stranger to the show. I'm going to forget a lot of stuff because I feel like he's an insider on just about everything. But importantly, co-host and soon-to-be host of Primetime Preview each and every Friday night here on IU Sports Radio, 8 p.m. Eastern. Let's welcome Josh Ritter back to the show. Josh, how the heck are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good, my friend. Doing good. Thanks for coming back on. Much appreciated. Josh, real quick, where can we follow you and talk about your show that you got going on?
Well, before we do that, like if Craig brings the class, I bring the crass, right? So good luck with that.
Right.
I love it.
You can find me at Josh Ritter 13 on X, and also I'm working on building a TikTok following at Josh.Ritter57. So definitely follow me there. You get all my videos on both those platforms, and I'm also posting on several different IE Sports Radio platforms because my teams are not local. My teams are all over the place, so you never know where I might be.
Yeah, he is literally like coast to coast. It's pretty unique, but it's also really cool. So definitely check him out. You got some pretty good content. We're checking on a few comments before we dive into things. So Taryn checking in. Hey, appreciate you, Taryn. Catch him on 3 and Out on Saturdays. He has Set Point. He's our volleyball guru. You'll catch him tomorrow night in Midweek Mania. He's also everywhere. That's good. Our boy George calling in. Can we skip the NFL today? No, I'm sorry.
It's gonna be hard to do.
Yeah. Brian, our New England insider, checking in. And my favorite listener, Craig knows this person as well. Emma checking in, saying hi to Craig.
I am.
Here we go. So, all right, for those of you who may not know or have forgotten, here's kind of what we do. I'll throw out some topics, throw out a few bullet points behind that, and we'll go kind of around the horn here, pun intended, and get the thoughts from the guys here. And they'll come up some, some good thoughts because that's what they'll do. And when I like it, you may hear one of these. Like, all right, good stuff. Or I don't like what I'm hearing. I don't like what I'm saying. Or you know what? It may make perfect sense, but I still may buzz them anyway because it'll just be fun. And you may even get one of these dumb ones. You never know. You never know. So we have fun with it. Keep the comments coming in, everybody. And we will go from here. So first things first, take it or break it, which seems to be a favorite of a lot of people here. So we're going to do a double dose of this, which I've been doing lately just because there's so much to talk about. So topic number one, Josh, and we'll start with you on this one. We'll start with college football. Now, within the past week, NCAA came out and said, all right, Michigan football, Sharon Moore, you're going to get we're going to add a game, so he's on serve a 2-game suspension. They're looking at fines of upwards of 30 mil. However, not vacating any wins, no vacating of the 23 chip. Connor gets his 8 years of bad behavior, and Harbaugh gets his 10, which doesn't matter at this point. Take it or break it. NCAA was right in this punishment.
I'm going to break it. I watched that documentary, so I know a little bit about what went on with this. I'm going to break this because you cannot prove anything happened there. I don't understand why the NCAA feels the need to stick their nose into everyone's business, one of the more corrupt organizations that we have in sports, and tell people what is right and what is wrong. And this poor kid who figured out a system to see signs that they're going to continue. What is that, like 4 years ago? They're continuing to judge these people, and now they're going to punish the coach who had literally nothing to do with it. He was not even the head coach when this happened. And the team isn't even like a top 5 team. This is punishment for the sake of punishment. And I don't understand why they need to just continue to bring this story into the light. The NCAA should want to move the heck on from this whole thing and forget it happened. And putting it back into the public's ether right before their season starts is the height of idiocy. So I don't understand it at all. I break it completely.
I like that. Craig, what do you think, my man?
Yeah, no, we're going to break it. It's almost like the NCAA is still playing by the rule book, right? And right now, as we know, with college sports, there's so much money involved. Like, it's just a waste of time. It's just like NCAA; they're just going by their own playbook, and they're saying, "Okay, Michigan, you shouldn't have done that." But again, 4 years ago, what are we doing here? I mean, it's just, I'm in complete agreement there with Josh, because it just doesn't really make any sense that, do we even really care that they even came down with a punishment? I mean, because honestly, right now, I really don't care. Harbaugh's moved on. Okay, so, obviously, yeah, some other teams have been punished before in the past. I saw USC there with Reggie Bush, which was unfortunate. But, there's the NCAA spinning their wheels on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys on this, and play this last thing from George. It's the NCAA. That's all you need to know, and that's pretty accurate here. Although, do you hear the yelling and shouting and screaming? That's the mob in Columbus, Ohio, coming for us as we speak.
Oh,
whatever. I saw that comment about Reggie Bush. Like, even he kind of got vindicated later on. So I feel like we're going to be a decade down the road, and everyone's going to look back on this and say, "What was the NCAA even doing with all this?"
Yeah, no, we're all in agreement on this one. Craig, you want to add one last word before we go to the next take it or break it?
I don't think there's anything else to say about this one.
No. We are in 100% agreement here. So, all right. So this is one I threw in here late because we all had a feeling there was going to be some breaking news today, and we got it. So we're going to move over to the NFL, and I'll be remiss to mention that these topics will come up on 3 and Out Saturday with Larry and Taryn. The news came out today that Daniel Jones will be the starting quarterback for the season for the Indianapolis Colts. So here's a take it or break it. The Indianapolis Colts did the biggest disservice to their quarterback a franchise can do. Craig, I know you're itching at this one, my man. So take it or break it.
Of course, we're going to take it.
Yeah, we are.
Right. So, that's an understatement. I mean, the Colts have completely fumbled Anthony Richardson. They have failed him. You know, I mean, you could say what you want. Yeah, well, sure, they started him year one. You know, we knew he didn't play a lot of games at Florida, right?
Right.
Did they have to start him in year one? Hey, they made that decision to do so. He got hurt. Okay, so he only played 4 games. Then you only had the 12 games from last year. So he's only played like, what, 15, 16 games in the NFL. So, you know, how is that amount of time enough for you to evaluate and say, okay, hey, maybe this is not the guy? What are the Colts playing for here in 2025? I mean, this is an honest question. What are they playing for? You could have gone with Anthony Richardson. I mean, if you looked at any of the polls on X, it was like 90%, maybe higher than 90% Colts fans wanted Richardson to start in week 1 and for the rest of this season. So, this was a major fumble. You know, I don't see the benefit of them starting Daniel Jones. You know, because it really, to me, and here's my logic, Daniel Jones is better coming off the bench if something happens to Richardson, because Jones has the experience and he knows enough of that playbook by Steichen to come in and pick it up. Whereas you reverse that, Richardson, if something happens to Jones, then now you are going back to Richardson, who you have now benched basically, and you're asking him to come in and do it. And I just, you know, we have no idea what his confidence is right now. And obviously, as I just read here a few minutes ago, his agent obviously doesn't, like, he's baffled. He doesn't understand like why they did this, but yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, Josh, I want to hear your thoughts on this, being the resident Dolphins fan.
Well, I mean, I could speak for a while about how I feel about the Dolphins game week 1, but really, like, it doesn't matter, because all Daniel Jones is a poor man's Anthony Richardson. They're both highly inaccurate quarterbacks with legs that can make plays with their feet, and seduces you into thinking that they're going to be good quarterbacks, but they're not good processors of NFL defenses and not good processors of NFL offenses. So really, the take is, I'll take it, but it really started in the 2024 season when they put him into the starting lineup when he clearly was not ready to be a starter, and expected him to be able to run their offense in a way that was competent. And Anthony Richardson wasn't even close to ready for that. They got seduced by the athleticism, as a lot of teams do, but being a quarterback in the NFL has very little to do with athleticism. It has a lot more to do with understanding and diagnosing the defenses that are very complex in the NFL that are not complex in NCAA. And the talent gaps in the NFL are negligible versus the talent gaps that you have in college. So evaluating a quarterback who makes a lot of plays with his legs and his athleticism in college, you have to be very careful about that, about how you introduce him into the NFL. And the Colts messed up in 2024 by allowing him to play when he clearly wasn't ready. He didn't know how to read a defense at all. And now they're in a position where they went out this offseason and they got another guy who proved in New York that he was the same guy. He couldn't diagnose a defense. Yeah, he made a couple plays with his feet, and they thought, oh, well, he's similar to Anthony Richardson, so let's just bring him in to back him up. Well, okay, now you've only doubled down on the problem. So now you have a problem where you've got two guys who are not good processors, who might make a play or two a game that the fans get excited about. And so they fall in love with it, but they're fool's gold because they can't make consistent plays to win games. And so now the Colts are in a position where they've got two quarterbacks, and that means they have zero quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this as well, guys, and we could do a whole show on this, right? I mean, we could go back. Look at the general manager here, and it just has completely mishandled this from the get-go. I mean, I hate to even bring this up because this came out this week too, another interview with Andrew Luck. It's like, man, just kick us while we're down and spit on us while you're at it. And And we all know what happened there. We're not going to rehash that, but that obviously put the franchise in a hole. Imagine your franchise quarterbacks. 2 weeks before the season, I'm retiring. I'm done. And then ever since that, I mean, sure that you get a pass for a bit, but anytime the organization had a chance to right that ship, they didn't, and they continue to screw it up again. And it's unbelievable. After, I don't know, maybe we're just getting punished for the for the few years of luck and then the run with Peyton. I don't know, but this is mismanagement beyond belief. So I'm right there with you guys. I'm going to take it. We'll get a few more comments here real quick. We got a great take, so appreciate you, Julie. Thanks for listening. And our boy Charlie checking in. They knew what they were doing when they drafted AR. You live and die with him. Leave it all out on the field. Cannot disagree. They're preaching to us the whole time. He's patient. It's going to take time. He's raw. He hasn't played a lot. And then it's just, just kidding. So, anyway, we'll get off that. We may revisit this topic later on. We'll see where we go. But let's move on. We will jump to, I changed the name of this one quite a bit because I try to go with the name of the sport, right? So it's like a 40-second play clock or 20-second pitch clock. We're going to do 24-second shot clock here. Just kind of go to the NBA just real quick. They did come out with schedules, as most of us probably are aware of. So I want to talk real quick just about opening night and like the Christmas schedule and the teams they put out there to feature, what have you. So 24 seconds, guys. And Josh, I'll start with you on this one. You think they got the marquee games? You think they got them right?
I mean, generally speaking, I was kind of shocked that it wasn't Dallas and the Lakers on Christmas Day. I know they both are represented, but that was like the obvious choice for Christmas Day, because like Luka and him playing against the a game Lakers at Mavs on Christmas Day was the most obvious choice for the Christmas Day game of any choice that they could have made. And I know they both play, but they play each other. And that was absolutely what should have happened. And I know that they played maybe once or twice last year, but like you gotta bring that drama in with all that LeBron is going through with the Lakers and feeling like he's second fiddle now to Luka, and how that plays in with Dallas. Like that would have been the matchup for me. That would have made it. Otherwise, like I think they did a pretty good job with their Christmas Day matchups. It's pretty simple for the NBA. They know where their moneymakers are, but that would have been the one change I would have made.
Yeah, because I'm with you. I mean, I'm missing that one. I like the Cavs Knicks because those probably, at least in my opinion, are probably the two teams in the East this year, at least going into it. Craig, what do you got, man?
Yeah, speaking of the Knicks, I think I'm a little biased. I mean, I would have loved to see the Pacers be the Knicks there on Christmas
right.
Day. I mean, obviously you don't have Halliburton, so I guess that sort of kind of took the air out of that. But they missed the opportunity by having the Mavs versus the Lakers. I mean, just the whole thing with Lakers Mavs, Luka get traded from the Mavs. That would have been a perfect opportunity for the league to really draw in a lot of people for that Christmas Day games there.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, and to kind of follow up on that as well. I mean, obviously with the Pacers I think would have been there, even with the whole Miles Turner, whatever. We're on air. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to drop too many 4-letter bombs here, but obviously without Tyrese, I mean, I completely what I expected. I think a mostly full or returning Pacer team would have been featured on there, but it is what it is. But I think we're in agreement. They missed that one. I think the other ones are fine. I think they did. Yeah. I got no issues there. So, all right, moving on. Kind of one of my favorites, like to do stock watch. So this is a segment where player and or team. So be creative if you like. Where you see stocks rising or hitting stride at the right time, or oh crap, things are looking pretty bleak or whatnot. So Craig, any players, teams that you see out there that you like? You see the stock rising and declining?
Yes. So I do have a player and a team who I think their stock is rising right now, and that would be the Washington Commanders, believe it or not, and Jaden Daniels with that team. So we got a little taste of what was going on last night there against the Bengals. To me, I think obviously you can't get a whole lot for preseason, but obviously Daniels in his second year seems to be on the rise here. We're looking at that offense now with the Commanders, and boy, I mean, they look explosive. And this is without, mind you, Terry McLaurin, who they're still trying to do a new contract. So once they get McLaurin in there, I mean, yeah, man, they're on the rise. I don't think their run last year in the playoffs was a fluke. They're going to be a serious problem in the NFC.
I like that one. Josh, what do you think?
I'm going to give you a surprise one here because most people would not think I would say this, but I'm going to give a stock rising to the New York Yankees. Hey, I'm a Blue Jays fan, so I'm going to say I thought no. I thought they were going to – a week and a half ago, I was right. They were fading fast.
Yeah,
but
I know.
They are 7-3 in their last 10, and they have caught the Boston Red Sox for second in the AL East. And I honestly did not expect that from them. I thought they were going to fade. But good for the Yankees. They kind of bounced back from about a month-long goal. Just you didn't expect it, and good for them, I guess. Like, they're still 5 games back of my Blue Jays, and like we're just kind of watching and laughing from afar. But they have bounced back, and I did not expect that.
Well, I said to buzz you because you said good and Yankees, and like is basically the same sentence, and I can't have that.
It felt wrong to say. I'm not.
I'm sure. I'm hoping if you're like me, you died a little inside, but that's neither here nor there. I was hoping. I was hopeful. Remember you saying that? I was hopeful they would fade, but part of me was like, probably not going on, and it's just going to. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna give you my rising here before we go to declining. I'm gonna go to golf. I'm going Scotty Scheffler. I know that's just when you think you don't think he can rise any higher, he does. 5th win again. It's like. See, one of only 2 players to do that, and the other one was Tiger Woods. I think Tiger was pretty good. So, and just watching him make that birdie putt from, I can't remember the distance, but just this long chip, and the thing just keeps going, and sinks. And I'm sitting there screaming, I'm like, I can't even make a 3-foot putt, let alone do that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I'll give Scotty Scheffler's props, and I'll go to baseball for team, and I'm going to say the Kansas City Royals. Winners of 7 of 10. While people aren't really thinking they're going to make this push, but they have caught. They're like a half game now, I believe, behind the Guardians. Guardians are 3.5 out of the wild card, that final wild card spot. So I will give a little bit left to the Kansas City Royals. They're not going away. So I'm not saying they're going to make a wild card or anything like that. I'm not throwing that out there, but I'm just saying they're not going away where you see some other teams are starting to kind of fade away and they're not. So let's go to declining. Greg, what do you think? Who you worried about? Who you see declining?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to, man. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. And I hate to really say this. I mean, because they've had a lot of injuries, but the Indiana Fever's kind of been declining a little bit, and I'll probably get some pushback on that. But I just hate with some of the injuries. Now they're still in that last spot there, but the injuries really have thrown a monkey wrench into their season. But they've kind of, I mean, obviously they got some games left to really kind of turn it around, but they had a couple games there against. I'm trying to think. I think it's Atlanta and Dallas, I believe.
That loss against Dallas was painful.
Yeah, I mean, man, those should have been. They should have gotten those games. I mean, those were really bad losses for the Fever. So I hate to put the Fever there, but yeah, that's just a little disappointing there on their part.
Yeah, I'll chime in on that real fast. I mean, you're not wrong at all. I'm trying to look at it with the glass half full perspective, I guess, with all of these injuries, basically having no guards, especially now with Sophie being done for the year. And to still have a winning record and be, like 3.5 behind the Liberty. It's like, man, I wouldn't have even guessed that just with the injury bug. But to your point, you're right. Because there's that Dallas one, and I think it was the Mystics one. Those are games they should have had and didn't, and that could bite them without a doubt. So, Josh, who's declining?
Well, before I say that, I will tell you, Sophie Cunningham is my favorite player in the WNBA because she used to be the Suns play-by-play stand-in broadcaster when she was with the Phoenix Mercury. Love that woman. She's amazing, and I'm so sad she's gone. But I'm going to give you guys a little bit of personal hopium here, and I'm going to say that the declining team is the Buffalo Bills because they lost 38-0 in the preseason to the Chicago Bears, and it means absolutely nothing, but I'm going to pretend like it means something. I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills are going down this year. They have no depth because they lost 38-0 to a team that wasn't very good last year, and the Dolphins are going to take – I don't really believe that. But, so we're going to say the Buffalo Bills are declining until I'm proven otherwise, probably in week 1 of the regular season.
Nice. Well, our New England insider had to take a little jab at us Midwesterners with Daniel Jones stock rising. So, yeah, nice. Appreciate you tuning in there, buddy. That's painful. So, well, gentlemen, we're going to get a break in here real quick. Got a few more segments on the other side. So, appreciate you boys joining me, man. It's been a lot of fun so far. So, thank you very much. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. You have tuned in to Second Scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you. Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back. Second Scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Thank you once again for tuning in. Appreciate the comments. Keep those coming in. So we will head over to our next segment that we call Clutch or Cringe. So go jumping back to the NFL a bit here. What appears to be third string quarterback Dylan Gabriel, the Cleveland Browns, made some. I'm gonna paraphrase these comments here, but made some comments this past week, saying he essentially, and again I'm going to paraphrase it. He's a competitor, not an entertainer. This was more of a direct media jab, not so much a Shador jab as he tried to explain later. Josh, I'm going to start with you. Clutch or cringe on that comment?
That's super cringe because he's lying. That is absolutely a shot at Shador Sanders and everything around Shador Sanders. And if you don't believe that that's what that is, then I got a beachside mansion to sell in Alaska to you, because that ain't true. Like, of course, Dylan Gabriel, who is the exact opposite personality, trust me, I know as a Dogs fan, he is the exact opposite personality of Shador Sanders and everything around the Sanders family. Like, that is exactly what he meant. And I'm surprised he didn't just own it. If you're going to say it in the media, just own it and say, like, this guy's Hollywood and I'm just meat and potatoes. And that's really what it is. And then they came out and like named Joe Flacco as the starter, which doesn't even make any sense. The guy's like 84 years old. Like, I don't know what they think they're doing this year by even
the Browns. They don't ever think what they're doing.
Seriously. So as a Colts fan, both of y'all should be thankful for the Browns, because it's the only quarterback situation more dysfunctional than you.
I'm about to get a hold of Larry and be like, well, us Colts and Raiders fans have one thing in common. We could be the Browns.
Yep.
I thought you would appreciate that with being an Oregon guy. So, and know a little bit about that. Craig, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I felt it was a little cringy.
Yeah,
making that comment, I don't know, it kind of seemed a little out of character, to be honest with you. But yeah, obviously it was a shot at Shador without question. Yeah, that Browns quarterback. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they just. But that, honestly, I'm not surprised they named Flacco the starter. I felt he was. I mean, because everybody else was just like, I mean, Kenny Pickett's pretty much. I mean, this is the third or fourth team that he's been on in the NFL, and then I mean, Gabriel and Sanders are both rookies, so I mean, so it was going to be Flacco, but yeah. I mean, he's like 40, 49, 40, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, that was I don't know what the Browns are doing.
It was a little cringy, and you're going to have a real hard time selling me on the fact that I think a lot of other people that wasn't directed at another person in that locker room. I mean, I'm just saying. Got a few more comments coming in here. Well, you know what? Joey's right. He's, I guess, makes me a little more comfortable as a Jets fan when I see Browns dysfunction. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, it's both. It feels like in the NFL, it's almost like you got these elite, and then you have a few in the middle, then you got this dysfunctional mess at the bottom. And unfortunately, it's like a culture here at the bottom. But we'll see.
I'll give you one more take. I'll say, as a Dolphins fan who's had plenty of problems with the narrative around Tua, I'll take the Tua problems over any of those other problems. Like, at least we have a guy that can play quarterback when he stays healthy.
Good point.
Yep.
Can't argue that. So, all right, we'll move on to a newer one. The newer segment of ours, I should say. It's an over-under segment. So pretty straightforward, right? So it's kind of coming up with thinking of this one. So I was like, all right, we'll go back to baseball here. And I just checked here. The Brewers are up 1-0 over the Cubs, even though they lost the game one of the doubleheader today. But they're still a comfortable lead in that division. So take the over-under here. Brewers will mathematically have clinched this by September 14th. Over or under on that one? What do you think, Craig?
I'm gonna go over on that.
Right.
Brewers have been playing. They've been playing lights out here. And I know that Reds have gotten a couple of times here, which I mean it's great for the Reds.
Right.
I think. I mean, Brewers seem to be. I mean, they seem to be comfortably ahead. I mean, they're going to have to really screw up here in order for them not to at least clinch it there by September 14th. So yeah, I say over.
All right, Josh, what do you think?
I'm going to go under. I understand what Milwaukee's been doing, and my gosh, that when they were down 8-1 and 110, that was crazy. That they've been so impressive, but the law of averages in a baseball season says that when you're this hot for this long, it's going to come back at you at some point. And you got the Dodgers and the Phillies behind them, and I think at some point those guys are going to close the gap. They're not going to beat the Milwaukee Brewers. They're going to get the number one seed in the NL. But I think that you're going to see a little bit of a tightening there. The Brewers will eventually go into, okay, we're good mode and lock down their rotations a little bit and be a little more careful. They're going to take some teams lightly that are going to be fighting for playoff berths. And the other teams are going to be fighting for playoff position, because if you look behind them, the difference between the Phillies at number 2 and the Padres at number 5 is 3 games. Those teams are going to be fighting much harder than the Brewers in September. So I will say it's going to take a little longer to clinch, but they'll clinch it. It's probably a week out, but I wouldn't say before the 14th.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Real quick, I'll ask you guys just rapid fire here. Brewers peaking too early? Craig, I'll go to you.
It could very well be that they are. I mean, obviously, I think we've all been impressed by them. They had like 12, 13 straight there. But yeah, you still got 1 month left. So yeah, I mean, they could just to Josh's point there. Yeah, they could be kind of peaking just a tad bit early. You know, I mean, if this was middle of September and they were still doing this, I mean, obviously I'd probably feel a little bit differently. But yeah, I mean, there's certainly a chance they're peaking a little bit too early.
Josh, what do you think? I saw you nod your head.
Yeah, I really do think that. I mean, this isn't the most talented roster in the MLB, and you know they've been so hot lately, and that's great. But I take you back to the 2017 Blue Jays, who were in a very similar situation. They had a huge run in August, really good, and then they got to the playoffs and they just fizzled out. And it's just really maintained that all the way through the end of October.
No, I agree. We've seen this happen before. I mean, as a Mariners fan, we remember the 116-win season. They had already played their best baseball by the time the playoffs started. And it was evident even in the division series that year. They barely snuck by Cleveland and then just to get rolled by the Yankees. So I tend to agree with you on that. Let's we got a quick minute or two here. Let's add another one here real quick, since we've talked about the big NFL story today that happened in the Indianapolis. Craig, I'll go to you on this one. We'll say week 6, over or under. The Colts have a different quarterback.
Man, I think I'm gonna definitely go over. I think by week 6, because got to look at that schedule. Those first 2, I mean, Miami and Denver at home. I mean, yeah, maybe Miami, but man, that's gotta. I mean, now that Jones is, I mean, I might have felt a little differently if Jones wasn't the starter, but now, I mean, that looks like an L, and I hate to say that, but yeah, I mean, they got some games here in the first games, which I'm not 100% sure that by that point whether Jones is going to be performing well at that point, or they're going to have to turn to AR. That's why this is such a mess. I mean, it's just a mess. Yeah. Now you're going to have to go back to AR. You're gonna have to rely on him being confident to go in there, knowing that, okay, yes, this is that they have benched me before, they've benched me now again, and now they're asking me to go in there. It's a lot to ask of a young guy like him. I mean, he's younger than a lot of the rookie quarterbacks that have come into this league this year. So, so I mean, but again, another discussion for another time.
Oh yeah. We do a whole show on it. My conspiracy theory is it's he's asked out by then, and Jones has been terrible, so it's Riley Leonard season come week 6 or 7. That's my conspiracy theory.
It'll be Riley. Nice, man. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Josh, what do you think? Real quick.
Well, it just depends on whoever the head coach is in week 6. Because at this point,
it's true.
Shane Steichen's going to be struggling to keep his job. I think you're going to see probably the third or fourth quarterback by week 6. This is a situation where there's no conviction in that regard. I saw Shane Steichen came out and basically said, I don't want to put a short-term thing on Daniel Jones, which wasn't to say he's our guy, we're sticking with him. It was,
Right.
well, I don't want to say that it's going to be a short-term thing, which is his way of saying it's a short-term thing. And I could see them going back and forth week by week as they inevitably fizzle out because they don't have a quarterback on their roster. And that's going to ultimately lead to probably Shane Steichen being in danger. I don't know what the ownership situation is there after Jim Irsay to like how quick are they going to pull the plug? Like, I don't know. You guys know better than I do. But I know when an NFL team doesn't have a quarterback and things go back and forth, the fault inevitably gets put in right in front of the coach, even though it probably isn't his fault, but it's probably the GM's fault. But like, that's a chaotic situation that is going to be week to week, not even week 6.
Yeah, I'd imagine that as this goes downhill quick, I imagine that the Daughters will clean house.
Yeah.
I don't think they take any crap. That's just kind of my take. But, again, we'll have to let it play out and see what happens. So, good stuff, gents. Let's head to our story time segment, or build a story. How am I going to put it? I did this one just for Craig. But I'm going to start with Josh because I know Josh is going to love it. And then I want to hear Craig's rebuttal. This is a fun segment because we just kind of build a story. It's like, what if this happens, and what's going to be this narrative around it if this happens? So here it is. What if IU football shocks the world again? But Josh, we'll start with you being the Oregon Ducks guy who's loving being in the Big Ten.
What if they shock the world again? By doing what? By doing what? They didn't win the Big Ten last year.
No, they did not. However,
nobody in their they were a cute little story for a while. But
nobody or their brother thought that IU was on being the college football playoff.
But who won the Big Ten last year? Remind me.
Oh, the team that got rolled come playoff time?
I didn't talk about the playoffs. I asked you who won. Who won?
We know who won.
Yeah.
We know who won.
Okay,
it's saying if they shock the world, that means they beat Oregon this year. So what's the narrative behind that, sir?
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Yeah. So what happens if this guy's head will explode because there is no way that the Ducks are losing to Indiana University this year. I love you guys. But that is not happening. Ducks are coming right back with a vengeance because they were wronged last year when they got put into the situation where the first game they had to play as the number 1 overall seed was Ohio State, which was ludicrous, by the way. There should have been a reseeding, and there now will be apparently. So good for whoever's the number 1 seed this year. It is not happening again. It's not happening again. I know it's not happening again. It was a great story, but it ain't happening.
It's a what if segment. It's build a story. What if it happens? Because most are saying it's not going to, and I understand that. I really do.
And I'm one of those most.
Yeah. All right, Craig. Craig, you got to come up and represent, buddy.
All right. So he said, what if it, and he said it wasn't going to happen, but what if it does? Okay. 11 wins last year by the Indiana Hoosiers in football. So, hey, they could win another 11 games here. So what does 10-3 look like? Who knows? What is 11-2 again? They could repeat. We're talking about he was the hottest college football head coach in all of college football last year. So, hey, I mean, he's bringing back a lot of those guys. We got Fernando Mendoza now at the quarterback. He's a pretty hot prospect right now in college football. They got a pretty solid running game. That defense is still going to be. I mean, they lost a couple of guys on defense, but they still got a lot of those holdovers from James Madison. So hey, you just never know. I mean, they could have Oregon's number this year. they could beat, you know, could beat some of these Big Ten schools. You never know. You just never know.
So I'm going to go with this. I've looked at their schedule. I did a little preview on 3 and Out, which y'all can check out Larry and Taryn on Saturdays. I've mentioned a few times, but look at this. It's definitely a tougher schedule. But I mean, let's be real. They wasn't going to have a tough schedule last year. They've lost. I mean, over the course of their history, they've not been good at football. We all know this. But I'm looking at it. I'm looking at their schedule, and obviously going to play at Oregon will not be an easy game. And everybody in their brother's going to pick Oregon. I get it, rightfully so. But then you catch Penn State the week after they play Ohio State, which is intriguing to me in a way. Because to me, I could see one of two things happening. You could get a really riled up, PO'd Penn State and you could get destroyed. Or you catch Penn State on a high and you come in and they have no idea what hit them. And too little too late, IU pulls off a crazy upset. I mean, not saying it's going to happen. I'm not putting money on that. But I'm saying that's the case. I very well is a one-loss Indiana team, and they're right back in the CFP again, and you just never know. And I think the narrative around it will still be somewhat, I don't know, quasi-negative. I still think, oh, well, outside of those 2 games, they didn't really play anybody. And I don't know. I throw it out there. I think it's intriguing. The ranking are 20th in some polls. I thought that was a touch low. To me, but who cares? I mean, just let them. Though you probably use that as fuel or whatnot. But I thought of a little bit of fun with that segment tonight. Craig, knowing you're going to be on there, being diehard IU, and of course, Josh, go Ducks in his world. So I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with that.
I'll tell you what. While you're taking a swig there, if it comes down to me rooting for Penn State to beat Indiana, as a Ducks fan, y'all are in a good spot because I would expect that I'll be rooting for Indiana at that point.
Hey, we appreciate that. That's fair. I'm just rooting for, I'm just rooting against Ohio State. Whoever plays Ohio State, go whoever.
We're all in the same boat on that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are. All right. Good stuff there, guys. A couple more segments here. We will call it a night, but appreciate everybody commenting and tuning in. Any based off what we saw this past weekend, again, all sports are on the table here. Any weekend hot takes? Anything that really stood out to you that, again, it could be seen as good or bad? That again could affect the rest of the season. If we're talking MLB, something that could get. We're not talking Colts quarterback situations. We're done with that. I'm over it. But. Anything stood out from the weekend in particular? Josh, I'll start with you.
I've been a big Tiger Woods fan for his entire career. And I'm 44, almost 45, and Tiger Woods just a few years older than me. So I followed his career. He made golf a thing for me. And I watched golf every week just for him. Whenever he was playing, I watched. Whenever he wasn't playing, I didn't watch. And that was for like 15 years. And I genuinely, after having fallen in love with the sport and watching him play, thought once he stopped playing, I wouldn't be interested in golf ever again, because there would never be someone that could take a field of 100 and some odd guys and win 50% of the time. But I'll tell you what, Scotty Scheffler is as close as anybody has ever been in the last 50 years since Jack Nicklaus. And I'm amazed by his performance. And he's such a good human being.
Yeah.
In golf is a weird sport because you don't really pick a guy and just root for them. You kind of root for stories. But like, he's a guy that you root for. And you usually don't root for the front runner in that kind of way. And he's transcended golf and kind of come to this spot where he's at a dominant level that will drive the sport forward. And I was very concerned that the sport was all and good for him. So for me, it's Scotty Scheffler. Like, watch him play golf. He's amazing.
He absolutely is, no doubt about it. Craig, what are you thinking, man?
So I'll give you an interesting one. So let's go back to that 38-0 drubbing of the Buffalo Bills by the Chicago Bears in the preseason. So here's my hot take. The Buffalo Bills will be going to the Super Bowl. They're coming out of the AFC. Here's my reasons why. Okay.
Let's go. Let's go.
We're going to the Super Bowl this year. Sorry, I know you're a Miami Dolphins fan. And so and I'm relating some of this to what the Colts had to go through with Brady and the Patriots. The Bills have constantly run up against Mahomes and the Chiefs. And, I mean, something's got to give eventually. And it seems as if, obviously Allen was the MVP last year. It just seems that Buffalo was due to break through in the AFC. So, yeah, boy, 38-0 in the preseason. It didn't look good. Preseason doesn't really count. But to me, it just kind of seems like this should be Buffalo's year to finally break through and get to the Super Bowl. So that's my hot take.
Hey, that's good stuff. Some would say their window's starting to close a little bit, and maybe it is, and maybe that is. It could be their chance. You're absolutely right, and it's a good analogy. I mean, Colts ran into Brady and the Patriots. It seemed like forever, and finally, 1 year got over the hump. So you never know. Good take. I'll throw mine in. This really isn't a weekend because they were off this weekend, but they are coming up this weekend. I'll go back to IndyCar. Just watching Pillow doing what he's done this year has been ridiculous. I mean, just absolute dominating from start to finish. But I think we may have found the future of this series, depending on how much longer he sticks around. Pillow, that is. And Christian Lundgaard, this young kid, and he is getting several podiums, and it's not a shame to lose to Pillow the kind of year he's having. So for him to come over to Arrow McLaren and do what he's done this year, I think he very well could be seeing the future of IndyCar. Again, depending on how long Pillow decides he wants to stick around, because he's only 28, so he can stick around as long as he wants. He may be around another 6-7 years, and we'll see. But good stuff, gents. One final segment. This is always a fun one. We gotta do we'll do our mic drop moment. So this is one where we're just gonna have a blast with it, whatever it is. Usually we go a little bit kind of out there a bit because that makes it more fun, right? So, Craig, I'm gonna leave the floor to you on this one. Give me a mic drop. This could be a prediction. This could be, whatever. It could be completely fandom, whatever it is.
Okay. All right. So, I'm done talking about the Colts. So I want to talk about my other favorite team, the Pacers. As we know, Tyrese Halliburton's out for the year, all next season. I'm reading a lot of stuff. A lot of folks are just kind of discounting the Pacers off as just, they're pretty much going to probably play for the play-in or whatnot. I don't agree with any of that. This is a very good damn basketball team. Okay, they've got one of the best coaching staffs, I believe, in the NBA. They extended Rick Carlisle today, which was an excellent move. To put a win total this season, now I will admit I think they probably can win about 44 games. We'll see. I did read somewhere, and I think it was the Ringer, if I wasn't mistaken. They felt that the Pacers could actually go past the win total that they had last year, which I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. Okay, so yeah, they think that Pacers are going to win 50 plus games with Nembhard and Mathurin in that backcourt. They have a chance to really ascend and to really come into their own as player, both of them individually. So the Pacers are going to still be a problem next year. That's my mic drop.
Well done, Josh. Give me that. Let's hear it, brother.
So I'm going to go with the same sport, but with a very different take.
Okay.
For the past few years, the Phoenix Suns my team has been the most boring team in all of sports. They've been top heavy. They've basically been iso ball for Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and they've been extraordinarily underwhelming. And they have shifted to being young, to being athletic, to being dynamic, and being inexperienced. And they will be the most fun 35-win basketball team that you have watched in a long time next year. I cannot wait for basketball season, and it has nothing to do with whether the Phoenix Suns are going to win games or not, but it has to do with they're bringing the fun back to the Valley, and they're bringing those Valley jerseys back that they went to the finals with back in 2021. Those jerseys are clean, and they have good juju. And I'm not sitting here saying that we're going to win enough games to make the playoffs, but I'm sitting here saying that there's going to be a sea change with the Suns where people are saying that's a fun team to watch again, whereas it's been pure misery in the Valley for years watching this team just underperform with way too much talent. It's going to turn, and I'm super excited for it, and it has nothing to do with wins and losses.
I like it. I like it. Gentlemen, this has been a blast. But while I do this outro here, I'll throw in my mic drop. Craig, I think you might like this one. When this baseball season is said and done, there's still, I know it's creeping up here. We got a little over a month to go, but a lot's going to happen. We know this. That last wild card spot in the NL, the Cincinnati Reds will come in and surprise everyone and steal it. I'm not even just saying that for you, Craig. You know I like the Reds and all this. I just, no one there in that National League really, stands out to me when it comes to wild card. But that's my mic drop. Gentlemen, Craig, Josh, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everybody go check their stuff out online. Check out Josh's show on Friday. I'll be back here with you same time next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to Second Skinny right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great week, everybody.